Hi everyone, and welcome back to Find My Field, where we explore different careers and help students discover future opportunities and pathways. Today, we're delighted to be joined by Ms. Rita Abou Obeid, an agriculture engineer and food safety consultant with extensive experience helping organizations ensure the quality, safety, and sustainability of the food that we eat. In this conversation, we'll explore what agriculture and engineering really is, the importance of food safety, and the many career opportunities available in this growing field. Ms. Abou Obeid, thank you so much for being here with us today.
It's my pleasure.
All right, so let's actually start from the beginning. Can you tell us how you found your way into this career? And was it something you were always planning to do? How did you come across it, and how did you realize that it's something that you want to do for the rest of your life?
Initially, it started as I would say, complete coincidence. I honestly cannot remember how I landed my first job in the field of food industry. So my first job was in the field of dairy industry. And I can't remember how I landed this job, but when I got into this field, I enjoyed it because it has a lot of hands-on basically experience, a lot of practical. It's very practical, and you can see tangible results. So you try a new recipe for a new cheese, you try a new product, you do the tests, etc. And then when I wanted to move from this job into another job, I heard of a vacancy in food safety. I thought, why not? Let me try it out. And then I realized that it's also interesting, and I got into it. And I realized that I am good at it because I realized that I can convey the message properly. I can explain. I can do proper presentation or proper training, basically. And I felt it was working. I could make an impact or a change in the mindset of the food handlers, and I kind of started to like it. As
All
simple as
right.
that.
Well, that's very nice. I'm glad you found that. Now, what exactly would you say a food safety consultant and professional does on a daily basis? What does your day look like? If we were to like follow you around for the day, what would we see you doing?
Okay, so the food safety field is divided into different, let's say, sections. So you have when you want to introduce food safety properly into a food establishment, you need to do different, let's say, changes. First of all, you have to change the mindset of the people who are working there. Many of them don't understand why they need help in in getting the training, in understanding the benefits of having good food safety. What are the issues in case you don't have food safety? So you have the training. Then for them, once they understand and they, let's say, they are convinced, you need to give them the tools to properly implement it. So you move into writing all the procedures, help them implement those procedures, help them monitor if those procedures are properly implemented. Then you have a third section, which is making sure that this is done properly. So you go and you do inspection inside the premises to see that what you have trained them to do, what tools you gave them to implement, are indeed implemented. Then there is another section as well where every time they want to implement proper procedures, they start to realize that they lack the tools, but this time like the equipment, let's say. So how do I check with the temperature? How do I ensure that these items are not expired, etc.? So also we have to advise them on what items to buy and what they need to have in their kitchen. So it's different fields. One day you find me in the training room doing training, like a class, basically classroom kind of training. Next day you find me on site, help them to help them implement those procedures. Third day you can find me also on site, but this time going around in the kitchen or in the food industry, or let's say the factory, trying to make sure that everything is implemented as in is done properly. And another day you would see me probably going there with some suggestions for tools that they can put in place or buy to even help them improve their procedures. So it's a bit different. It's not something really boring or routine. And another day you can find me in the office writing the procedures that fit and suit their own operation. So it's a bit of this and that.
It's interesting. There's a lot of work, obviously, that goes behind the scenes that none of us see. So this is quite interesting. Now, what would you say, in your professional opinion, is the biggest challenges that you face in these situations, in these companies, in these restaurants?
Well, the biggest challenges would be the fact that let's say, no food handler realizes that they lack a lot of knowledge. So all of them come like, I know everything. I don't need you to teach me or to tell me what to do. Another challenge is the resistance to introduce those changes, because especially with the old generation, it used to be harder, where they would tell you, oh, I've been doing this for the past 20 years. I've never had any issue of food poisoning. Now you come and explain to me or tell me what to do. I've been doing well. Thank you very much. A third one is because we deal also with some particular type of chefs that are very arrogant, and they are like, I know everything. I don't need your help. So the challenges is you step into a world that is a bit resisting to new ideas, to change, and you have to be tough enough to first face them, and you have to be knowledgeable enough to convince them that no, you don't know everything, and no one knows everything. We always have room to improve and room to learn and to change. So these were my main, let's say, challenges. And you have to be really strong to face some of the people, because sometimes they can be really nasty, let's say.
Okay, so
But
it's a very
it,
people-oriented job, or some part of it is very
it
people-oriented.
is, it is absolutely people oriented, because there's a huge effort put into convincing people and into putting and pushing them to do the change and to implement the procedures, and otherwise they don't see the results, and they think that okay, that was a failed project. I don't see any results. Yeah, you don't see results if you don't do the job. They have to do the job, not me. My job is to advise them and to consult, not to do the job on their behalf. And this is where we sometimes basically clash, but everything is manageable.
Okay, and how would you say technology is impacting this with everything, with all the new advancements and AI and everything? How much is it impacting this career, and how much is it of a help or maybe a burden in these types of situations?
It's gonna be more and more a huge help. So basically, with the technology, we've been relying on technology from day one, from the old technology. For example, how would you check the temperature of your cooked chicken if you don't have a thermometer? That is technology. It's, of course, it's a basic or traditional technology, but it's technology. How would you measure the acidity of, let's say, the rice of the sushi? That's technology. You need a pH meter. So this is a very science-based field. We rely a lot on science because it deals with microbes, with bacteria. You need to know all the details. Also it deals with, let's say, sometimes allegations of food poisoning. You need to understand the different types of bacteria, their impact on our body, etc. So the technology has always been there. But now the new technology with AI, we are going very quickly into developing. We will reach a point where instead of having me in the kitchen doing the training or the inspection, the CCTV itself would be able to flag the mistakes and notify the management, for example, or even it can be linked to the municipality. Let's say here in Dubai, they will get to a point where the CCTV can be linked to the municipality platform, and it will be trained to flag the food safety related mistakes, and notify the owners or the management, as well as let's say municipality inspectors. Then a lot of the items now are linked to each other's. Let's say the thermometer is linked to a software that you implement, so you check the temperature, it goes directly to the software that you have. You don't need to go right down, and so a lot of elimination of paperwork, a lot of elimination of subjective decisions. All of that is now in the process, and I'm sure that also online, let's say, training, live simulations. Now you go and go with your goggles. You are sitting in your maybe on your bed or in your chair, and you can be inside the kitchen, and you can do the whole training via simulations, for example. So yeah, technology is helping a lot, and it's very fast. It's coming very quickly.
Yeah, well, that's nice. Well, that makes a lot of sense, and it's nice to have this evolution because obviously it helps. Now, to move on to the student part of things, what would you say, personality-wise and character-wise, suits this career best, given the different aspects of this job?
Yeah. So the personality that you require for this job, first of all, you have to be, of course, someone who has no, let's say, not a shy person. You cannot be a shy person because you have to be out there. You have to communicate all the knowledge that you have. You have to be, as I said, facing sometimes some very arrogant people. You have to be really confident. You have to have that self confidence because you are teaching people around you who might be looking at you and doubting, does she know enough? And especially sometimes they kind of try to trick you with their questions and try to outsmart you. So you have to be very confident. So basically, first you have to know what you're doing properly. You have to be well prepared. You have to do your homework first. And you have to have the character and the personality that you can face. And if you are challenged by these people, you are able to face them and to challenge them back. So it's not a dream. You cannot be a dreamy person. You cannot be an artistic person. You have to be a very much of a, I wouldn't say bossy, but you should have that bossy aspect in you, let's say.
Okay, okay, makes
If
sense.
I, yeah, to put it very like straightforward. You have to be
Okay,
a sharp, bossy person to be able to make a difference and to make them really listen to you and follow your instructions.
okay, so I think a lot of people have sort of a misconception when it comes to this job. They don't really know what the job consists of or what they actually do or the importance of that job. So, what career opportunities exist for students today interested in food safety, nutrition, quality control, or hospitality that maybe people don't know about? Because I think they have a very limited knowledge on on the opportunities available in this field.
Okay, to be fair, I haven't gained any knowledge in nutrition from my education or from my career. I've done that on a personal, separate level. During COVID, I did some personal, let's say, learning, online learning. So I'm gonna base my answer based on my career, let's say. Now, it's a bit tricky to answer those questions nowadays because now every time someone asks me what do you suggest we should do, I always try to think what AI cannot do. So what AI cannot do is still that personal impact that you can leave on people around you, on the businesses, etc. If you look into my job, I know that training can be now easily replaced with online training, completely automated, completely generated by AI. Who knows? Maybe now I'm a what is it? An avatar of me. Maybe you're not talking to me, you're talking to an avatar of me. So we got to the point where you cannot know anymore who's the right person and who's the avatar. So I know that for the training part, there's not much left because now everything can be with AI. That's one part that we shouldn't be focusing on that much. When it comes to system creation and systemic creation, also this is now so much AI. The only part that AI will not be able, I think, to replace humans with would be that impact that you leave on the people and the way to convince them to get into this. So when I started my career, probably some long time ago, like 20 plus years ago, now I'm revealing my age, but you know my age anyhow. So I, I, uh, I was trying to focus more on how to get people to really to convince people to do the job, not just to teach them, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that. They have to understand why they need to do this and that, so they have to be convinced. At the time, I didn't know that this will be turning into something called food safety culture. So now they teach it in basically universities, in institutions, the food safety culture. I always used to say, consider it, a course of antibiotics. Whenever you have any infection or inflammation, you are prescribed some antibiotics. You cannot have one or two pills. You need to have to do the complete course for you to see the results, because the meds need to go through your bloodstream into your organs and do the job. Same with anything, not only my job, any job. You need to be able to get into the system and to make the change from within. This is something AI will not be able to do and technology will not be able to do. This will always depend on people. I know now it's easier because I can just go to whatever, Claude or whatever, or ChatGPT, and generate the system I need to implement. I go to whatever AI and create all the flows and the diagrams, etc. I can, as I said, replicate myself into a nice avatar and do the training online without me being there. But all of that will not be getting into the mindset of people. So my only job would remain to use all that technology and AI and take it as a package and go there and implement it the best way possible and try to make people use it and follow it. So this is the only part that I see I would be still, let's say, useful or valuable. And this applies to anything else. Now, a lot of things are going to be done with AI, and a lot of things can be easily replaced now, but that impact, it would always remain our job. So still learning or going through, let's say, doing the university or the education I did, going through all of that is still required. But on top of that, we need to have more knowledge now in utilizing AI to work into our favor. So this is another skill that needs to be added, where you have to use and utilize AI to serve you into achieving your targets and your goals.
Okay.
I hope I answered the question.
Yes, you did. And speaking of skills, other than obviously knowledge on AI, what other skills on a personal level would you say people need to develop or work on in order to succeed in this career?
Communication. You should have good communication skills. That's the key. In my kind of job, if you don't have the proper communication skills, it's better to not get into this job. Because you're not going to be sitting behind your only behind your desk, behind your laptop. As I said, as soon as you have to, it's a bit of communication and a bit of psychology. You have to know the psychology of people that you're dealing with. You have to know, because I still believe that every single individual has a certain key that you need to find and use to unleash the, let's say, the potential of that person. It can apply to your own employees, because I have, of course, my team of trainers, inspectors, and consultants. So I cannot deal with them all the same way. So communication and psychology are very important to identify the, I wouldn't start with the weaknesses, but the strengths of people, and to capitalize on their strengths. So yeah, these two are, for me, the most important in my job. And of course, technology.
Yeah, makes sense. And looking back, what would you say is a lesson you wish you had learned earlier, like in your career?
I tried to find an answer for this, to be honest, because um, every day is a lesson. I mean, if I would say now, I give you a theoretical answer, oh, I wish I would have done this and that, then now I would have to give you an answer, oh, I wish I have done this and that. So there is no particular thing I would go back and change, or a lesson that I would have, let's say, learned, because we keep on learning, and even if you learn this, you will be missing that. But I would say maybe always be very confident in yourself and in your potential. But for you to reach that confidence, you have to do things super well. So you have to be very skilled and very knowledgeable in what you are doing. You have to be very honest in what you do. Because when you are honest and you have integrity in your job, you will be super confident with whatever comes your way. I don't think there is something there's no specific answer I can give you with this. I would only say know very well what you're doing and be super confident, and then nothing can stop you.
Okay. And to finally end it off, for all the teenagers watching this today who aspire to become food consultants or food safety professionals, what advice would you give for them for their future careers?
Start from the very, very, very lower bottom of that chain, let's say. Again, it applies to anything else. Start from the very beginning. Start with the basic. Don't be arrogant. Don't, even if you have the highest degrees, do not think you know anything unless you are on the field. Yani. My first, let's say, my second day at work, my very second day at work, I had a huge bucket of milk thrown at me. They just like washed me with milk. It wasn't like a cute welcome. It was a way to kick me out of there because I was probably, they thought I was gonna be a threat to their, their whatever setup they had. So I didn't know anything at the time. I was completely new in the field. I came from university. I have a degree in engineering. I thought I know everything. And then suddenly I'm like, oops, I know nothing. So I had to remain quiet. I had to watch, observe, learn people, learn what everyone would be throwing at me at some point, who to trust, who not to trust. And step by step, I could build that knowledge and confidence that took me to where I am right now. So for every person who's starting a career, be very, 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 very humble. Always remember that life is a continuous learning curve. You never stop learning. Literally, you never stop learning. I'm still learning today how to handle those AI things, for example, and it's so overwhelming to me. Also, if you are passionate about something, don't start looking into, oh, how much I'm gonna make in this in this job. Don't look at the job as a way to give you only a financial outcome, but think how much I should pay this job to learn. So you learn at school, you pay a tuition. You learn at university, you pay tuition. Also, in your in the beginning of your career, accept small pay and consider that the amount that you're not getting is another tuition for you to learn the real life, because school is a nice bubble, university is a bigger bubble that once you are in the field, this is where the bubble bursts. So for you to be able to make it in life, start very humble, realize that you know nothing, and start from the bottom of the chain. So I would say, yeah, be humble and don't be arrogant.
That's great advice, honestly, for any field. So it's really great.
It's really for any field. My first pay when I graduated was $500. I looked at my friends who graduated from the same university with me. They all started with $750 at the time. Then I was like, I know that it was something completely new to me. And even some of my friends were telling me, why would you settle for $500? How are you going to make a living? I told them, who told you I'm getting $500? I'm getting $1,000, but I'm paying back $500 to learn. And this is the learning that really shaped my career and my character and my personality and put me where I am right now. So always think about it this way.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you, Ms. Abou Obeid, so much for being here today and for teaching us and sharing your insights with us. It's really been very insightful and amazing. And I think we've learned a lot today, so thank you so much.
I hope so. You're welcome. Thank you.